Okay, do you know that Israel was once world power today? In late terms, United States of America of today. So this is a story of how God took a country from nothing to something, then to nothing again, in the space of 800 years. So it was approximately 400 years ago that God took Israel out of captivity from Egypt and make them the world power. How did that happen? God took them from Egypt, from slavery, and land them in Canaan, in the promised land. And during that time, God brought kings and kings. First of all, he brought Saul, who did well. He also brought David, who became one of the mightiest. He now brought David's son, who became the greatest king to ever live. That was how Israel just exploded. It was even recorded that many kings of the world, many noblemen, many queens of the world came to listen to Solomon speak, just literally speaking. Can you imagine that a king is coming to listen to another king speak? Solomon controlled the world economy, controlled the world perspective, not by power, not by armor, not by swords and by spears, but by simple wisdom and by simple political power. And he was doing that not by his own power, but under the mighty power of God. I mean, this is a country that 400 years ago they were stacking bricks and being beaten by guards in Egypt as a slave. And fast forward to 400 years later, they are the most powerful country in the world. And in the pinnacle of this glory, Israel did something that was very profound, which is they rebelled against God. They committed spiritual idolatry. They began to serve other gods. And Solomon married a lot of wives. And these wives tricked him into serving their gods. And Israel fell with him too. And these people began to serve other gods. So God got angry and split the country into two. And from there, the downfall began. And fast forward to another 400 years again, they all went into desolate. All of them went into captivity. Now you imagine that a country that was once celebrated as the biggest country in the world, that owns the economy, that controls the economy, now being a desolate country where nobody is remaining, is running to ruins. It's reduced to ruins. This is a country that was nothing before that. 400 years ago, they literally came out of slavery. And 400 years later, they became the biggest country in the world. And the next 400 years, nobody heard of them. The moral of this whole story is what? Stay with God. When God is leading you, don't try to be too big. When you are big, don't claim to be too big. Don't allow pride and lust. Don't allow pride and lust get into you. Don't allow pride to bring you down. Don't be too high-minded. Don't be too big in your own eyes. That was what Israel did. That was the beginning of the downfall. And from a biggest country, from a nothing to biggest country to nothing. That is the moral lesson. So always stay humble and always serve God. Now, this story is more big than 3 minutes video. So if you want to get a very cool, clear cut of this story that I just explained, I'm going to recommend that you read Chronicles, 1st Kings, 2nd Kings, even Samuel, to get the full details of what really happened. If I say you should read a verse or a chapter, you may not get the full envelope or the full scope of what really transpired. So if you want to get how Israel became a mighty nation to nothing and went into captivity and suffered perdition for the second time, read these books I just recommended. Remember, I said Samuel's, the Kings, and the Chronicles to get full understanding. God bless you as you did this. Remember, stay humble. Always stay humble. That is the moral of the story. Being humble. I'll see you on the next one.